You're listening to RTI Audio, powered by Rocky Top Insider. This is Pancakes and Bacon with VFL, Kyler Kervison, and Reed Bacon.
Hello, Vol Nation. Welcome to another episode of Pancakes and Bacon. I'm your host, as always, Kyler Kervison, joined with Reed Bacon. We got a great one today. We are talking Dejon Terry entering the transfer portal. Both of us are kind of bummed about that, but we just got a new recruit in Peyton Lewis, and we break down his film and tell you how excited we are for him and blue chip running back coming in. So before we get into any of that, if you guys are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. If you're just listening, rate and review, download and re-download, and follow us on all of those listening platforms that you might use. Also, follow us on social media at Pancakes and Bacon for our main account on Twitter, at Pancakes and Bacon _RTI on Instagram. To follow Reed, it is at rbacon26 for him on Twitter, and then at Kyler Kervison for myself on all social medias. So check us out there. But yeah, let's jump into this great pod. All right, welcome in, everybody. Got a great pod today. Not so great news. We have Dejon Terry entering transfer portal, but we are breaking down some film on a recruit. So before we get into any of that, though, Reed, how are we doing, bud?
Double sevens. You beautiful man. Happy Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day weekend. We are filming Memorial Day morning. So we did it on purpose because we wanted to wait. We've learned a little bit over the year too.
Yeah.
If there's a big recruiting weekend, we decide to not record on a Saturday or Sunday. So which is great. We're excited to talk about Peyton Lewis, the running back. Bummer about Dejon Terry, but before we get into that, like I said, happy Memorial Day weekend. A massive shout out to not only the vets and the active military, but their families working for Orion Talent, a staffing company that is specifically for military veterans and military spouses. It's those are the most special of the special people out there. They are incredible. So, but anyways, I just wanted to say that. And how's your weekend been?
Not bad. Enjoying the long weekend. Gives you a little bit more time so that we can do this on Monday, which is nice. Got to play some golf over the weekend, which I haven't done a little bit. So that was nice. It was only like 9 holes, but still had a good time. I still count on those like 4 or 5 shots that get me through. I can count them down as I go through it. I'm like, oh, there's one. Like, look at that recovery shot I just had. Like, there's one off the tally. And I'm like, all right, I'm only going to get 4 or 5 today. Like, let's use them wisely. But yeah, so it was fun to get back out there. Everything else, I mean, we're just relaxing. I'm recording now. Brienne decided to go to the plant shop, maybe look for some more plants. So we're enjoying our day off today.
Did you go? I know you said you were going to go look at some jobs. Did you go around to any of your job sites today?
No, didn't go around to any today. They're kind of nothing's happening.
Yeah.
So it was just going to be kind of a check-in, but I did that a little bit at the end of the day on Friday. So I felt all right about it. So didn't end up going in, but me and Brienne still woke up early, went and worked out. And then me and Brienne went and had a coffee and sat down and I got a bagel and she got a little wrap and just enjoyed the morning.
Yeah, that's a great morning. That's a great morning. What'd you work out?
I worked out legs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm doing a lot of kettlebell stuff with legs lately.
I'm about to after this, I'm gonna go run and then go in and do a little full body, just get a nice little sweat, feel good after I'm not a big drinker, but a couple days of a couple adult beverages and.
Did you go a little ham yesterday?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I mean, I had like maybe 3 on Saturday, but that's not many, and it was throughout the day, so maybe 4, and then had
It's
just
more than typical, so it kind of got you.
Yeah, it's definitely more than typical for me because I'm just not, like I said, a huge drinker. But it was nice being Saturday was great weather for the Knoxville Open. So my parents, our neighbors to the left, and then the 2 neighbors to the right, everyone that like our 4 families put in money. We put up tents, invite a bunch of people, come through, drinks, food, tons of food. So, tons of drinks too, but it's just a good time. So seeing a bunch of people, talking to people, and then getting to go and walk and watch the golf. And, and then Sunday, Megan and I went to church, and then we didn't really walk yesterday. We wanted to go post up on 18 so you can kind of watch them come in and finish.
Yeah.
Which we did a little bit of that on Saturday too. But yeah, it was great. I mean, those guys are on the Corn Ferry Tour. You got a couple guys that are some big names if you're golf people, like Camilo Villegas is out here. I mean, a guy that's been on the tour and is, lost his card. I mean, guys made $25 million playing golf in his life, and he's out here at Holston Hills.
Yeah, I know. He's in Knoxville.
And he's in Knoxville just trying to grind to get back to the PGA. And then you got Tommy 2 Gloves Gainey. You got Boo Weekley. I mean, Boo Weekley was a Ryder Cup in 2008. So, I mean, these are some of those guys that I remember when I kind of started watching golf. So it's cool to see them up close. And then, again, even the ones that you might not know their name, they're incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, they're freaks, bro. Like, they're freaks how good they are at golf. So it's fun to watch that. But, yeah, really, really good weekend. Excited to talk some shop. So what's your thoughts on DT? Actually, hold on. Before you say this, I know this for a fact. This is the first transfer that is pulled at you and I's heartstrings at all. You and I usually,
I would say so.
If someone transfers, you and I are both, we're like, deuces, see it, get out, we don't need you, or you screwed up, or whatever, like, see ya. But this one I know hurt you kind of like it hurt me.
Definitely hurt. I think, the biggest part about that is we have talked multiple times about the depth of the defensive line. And Dijon transferring in, I thought he fit a mold so well for us. And when I really look back on transfers out of the D line and look back on what we have experienced watching practice and watching after practice and how and who Rodney Garner is, it's very much like if there is a prima donna that comes and has to be coached by Rodney Garner, not surprised if they transfer out, because of the way he coaches, how hard he coaches. And then you look at the list and you're like, not many guys are leaving. Most of them are staying, and they're staying for a reason. They're staying because Rodney knows what he's talking about. And I get it. He's actually trying to make me better. And I guess Dijon just saw it as, I'm not going to be a starter. I can be a starter.
No, I saw a bunch of stuff. Now, we don't know because you obviously haven't talked to people. I haven't talked to people. I'm assuming we'll talk to people when we go over to practice in about a month or so. But supposedly DT had to leave because of family stuff, which makes it even worse. Supposedly his mom is potentially sick. Maybe his sister's not doing it. This is Twitter. I have no idea if any of this stuff is true, but it was multiple people, because a couple people came out and were like, oh, prima donna, see you later. He's going to go try to get a bag. And then there were multiple people defending no, that's not the case. And that's one thing that you and I do. We will not speak on something and give a BS opinion if we haven't been told it from someone that we trust, or that it's known fact. And so, I just wanted to let you know. Obviously, you've been off the grid, so you didn't know that. But
if it is a family thing, it's just it makes it more devastating because that Dijon isn't trying to be a prima donna or trying to look for other things. He really wants to be on this team. He just can't.
Yeah.
And it sucks for him and sucks for us. And, I start to look at interior D linemen that we still have on the team, and it does worry me. it worries me the depth that we have of the guys. You got Amari, Bryson Easton, Tyree West, Elijah Simmons, Dominique Bailey, Karat Garland, and Omar Norman Lott. That's 6 dudes. You need 4 of them to be all on the same level, no drop-offs, and that's not like an easy thing to find. That part of it, because as I was going through the roster, I'm like, damn, we got some DNs. Like, we got guys, outside linebacker DN guys that are good, that can be really good.
I like DT as a player, and everything that we've seen at practice, all the games that we've rewatched and broken them down, I thought DT is a darn good player.
Yeah.
And I thought he was a really, really good piece. Great for rotation. Practice, I always thought he did well. People we talked to liked DT, thought he was a good player. But where I disagree with you is, even though I hate it, I hate it, losing it. And especially, obviously, I hate it if it's because of he wants to be, or especially if it's because of family reasons and he needs to go be with them. I totally respect that. But yeah, it stinks for a kid that's like, if this is true, like, I did want to be at UT and I just have to leave, then that's heartbreaking, man. That sucks. And so I hate that for him. But I did pull up when I saw Ryan put out on Rocky Top Insider, like on the Twitter page, and it was a good article that he wrote. But when you think about this, obviously we have Amari Thomas, but then they're going to rely on Omar Norman Lott, Karat Garland, Bryson Easton, and Elijah Simmons. That doesn't even talk about a Tyree West or maybe another young guy like a Jordan Phillips if he's come a long way. He's kind of like, I actually forgot about him until I was thinking about this. And
yeah,
I personally feel like that they're still fine. Now, if you got an injury or two there, which usually something happens, then I'll get nervous. But I think right there, Omar, Karat, Bryson Easton, Elijah, Omari, and then Tyree West. I mean, that's six good dudes. And the thing is, like, we've talked about it so much, and Heupel talks about it all the time, but it's not even if you got 1 or 2 dudes, it's you got to have 1 or 2 dudes and then like 3 or 4 or 5 semi dudes, like you were talking about, to rotate in. And that's where it really hurts. It might not have been like, DeJoun Terry's going to come out this year and have all these tackles and pressures and TFLs and sacks, like huge numbers. But it's the fact that it's those little things that he does. Like when we're rewatching a game and it's like, it's like a middle of the second quarter, and it's like
he came into the game. He had a lot of energy. He came off the bench, so he was able to take a double team, and Beasley went free and made the tackle.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Exactly.
That's all we want you to do.
Yeah. Or like I was going to say, like a 2nd and 3, and he stops it, and it's 3rd and 3 now, and it's just like stuff like that. So I always thought that he was a really good player, and I really hate it for our depth. Because the more you have, the better you are. Everyone stays fresh.
Yeah.
But I still feel like I'm not devastated on I'm not super worried. Like, oh my gosh, this really crushes our rotation. We still have.
I see what you're saying.
We're in much better shape than we were a year ago, and even
definitely.
2 years ago. So
definitely,
yeah.
But it still worries me that, like, I kind of feel like I know who Elijah Simmons is at this point.
Yeah. I agree.
And I don't really know what Norman Lott can get to. So like that, just like 2 guys that are going to be rotational guys, that makes me nervous. Like I look at Elijah and I'm like, all right, I got you for 2 plays. Like you're just gonna be worn the hell out and not gonna be able to like keep up with anything. Like
the thing about Elijah depends on, and I noticed this when we went back and watched the Pitt game. The really thing about Elijah is I think he's come a long way with his body and his conditioning and things like that. I think it's more about the offenses that we're playing at the time. He's not going to be in there if it's a bunch of spread you out, north and west. But he played a good amount against Pitt because Pitt would line it up under center and run it, especially when the quarterback went out. So he got some good run there.
Yeah.
And that's a fine point. I agree with you that we know who Elijah Simmons is, but maybe I'm a little bit more high on Omar Norman Lott to kind of step in and play that DT role. But I get where you're coming from. You're like, Reed, I hadn't seen it in a game yet. Like,
yeah,
But I still think Karat Garland's a good player. Bryson Eason came on well last year. We both love Amari, and then Tyree West. It's a shame I forgot about him as a true freshman coming in and playing well. He's got super nice potential. So yeah, bummer for sure. First transfer you and I are bummed about, but my biggest thing is I just hope that him and his family's okay, because that's scary stuff.
Yeah, you never wish that upon somebody. It's just like him having family issues and like literally you can't do anything about it. And then like you have to leave like your dream spot or like where you thought you're like, hey, I have a chance here. I have an opportunity, you know, at Kansas, it wasn't that. And then now all of a sudden he's like, I have to go. It's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is. Well, best of luck to him and his family. Let's go do some good news.
That's right.
A new commit. This puts Tennessee top 10 in recruiting. Mm-hmm. I'm on just 247. You guys know how I am. I pick a different one when I Google and just click. So this brings Tennessee to number 8, but we are the highest ranked SEC team besides Georgia. Totally fair. 2-time national champs. They have the best hotbed in America besides the other team that's in front of us, and LSU at number 5. So if we can stay in front of some of those other teams, that's a darn good feeling.
Racking up the 4 stars.
Obviously, you know, Bama is they're not going to stay at 16th. They're going to make a
push.
Yeah. So, but anyways, let me give you the little rundown of Mr. Peyton, and then I want to hear your thoughts on the film. So 6'1", 190. He is a 4-star that they have him on 247 Sports. He's the number 11th running back for 247 Sports. He's number 15th on the 247 Sports composite. And then a great laundry list of offers, blue chip offers for sure. So Tennessee, Bama, Auburn, Cincinnati, Colorado, Duke. Trooper Taylor's at Duke. Huh, that's funny. Florida, Kentucky. I'm reading just some of the bigger ones. Miami, Michigan State, North Carolina State, Northwestern, Penn State, South Carolina, West Virginia, Wisconsin, Virginia Tech. So Virginia kid, and we got him over Virginia and Virginia Tech, which people might be like, well, yeah, of course, we're in the SEC, we're a better program. I mean, hell, we're a 27-point favorite against Virginia, but sometimes the hometown teams.
It makes a difference.
Yeah. So speedster, an absolute burner. I love when the first thing I see on a running back on Twitter is a 100-meter.
Yeah.
Poking people. So, but anyways, what'd you think of the film?
Speed. I loved that part of it. I mean, there were multiple plays where it was like a safety had the edge on him, and he was just like, no, I'm going. Especially on the kickoffs, kick returns, punt returns. Those were very impressive. And his patience in finding blocks, absolutely love it. That is one thing as an offensive lineman I want in a running back is like, do you understand what we are doing? Do you understand what blocks we are trying to complete? Do you understand that I'm trying to reach this man or that I'm trying to dig him out? It's just, if running backs don't see that kind of blocking scheme or like understand what you're trying to do with the defensive player, then they can't read off of you. I think he does a very good job of staying patient. I would say there are plays in there, and I'll put them in, of like reminded me of, you know, it's not this high tier, but Le'Veon Bell, the little just hesitation and hit. And just finding those open lanes. I love the size of them. I think 6'1", 190 is like a perfect size for a running back. It's not too big. You're not Brandon Jacobs, but it's not too small where I'm like, you're going to get depleted if you go out there. And it's like thick for how fast he is. That's a good weight. 190. That's really fast for 190.
Let me jump in here real quick too, just on the weight part. I thought the exact same thing, because 6'1", 190, you're going to come in and then after 2 or 3 years, or even after your first year, and you're hitting a weight room and nutrition and food at a college program, he could get to that like 202 to 205.
Yeah.
And that
Like,
is
tell me 6'1", 205 isn't the size you made your running back on Road to Glory in NCAA. Like, it's like the perfect like medium size of 6'1", 205 for your running back. It's just like, it's not small. He's not huge. He looks like a running back.
I would just make mine like 6'8", 499. No, if I really did a running back, mine was always like 6'2", 240.
Did you make him a bruiser or give him some speed?
He was like we're going to call him an all-purpose back, but definitely more on the power side.
There you go. Okay.
So,
continue. Yeah, he does. He's breaking arm tackles. He's not getting tackled easily. Again, I don't think he put his best plays at the beginning.
I hate that.
Which is just so aggravating. But the only thing that I am almost hesitant about him is the offense that he runs. Like the fact that he is lining up 7 yards behind the ball. He's taking it with a fullback blocking in front of him. He's got this time for the blocks to set up. That was one of like the hardest things for Derrick Henry when he first came to the NFL, and us Titans had Marcus Mariota, and it was spread and in the shotgun, and he's standing right next to Marcus, and he's trying to hand it off that way, and then like it just didn't work for Derrick Henry. That's just not who he is. So then we're like, hey, you know what? We're just going to lean on this guy. We're going to lean on him. How's our offense going to set up? We're going to put him 7 yards in the backfield. We're going to give him a fullback. We're going to, run counter and power and maybe a little toss zone. Like, once you're able to work around that guy, it flourishes their talents. And I just don't know. Obviously, like, maybe they've seen him at a camp or they've seen him at a 7-on-7 and Buddy's got route running skills, like just juking dudes out in the open space. And it's like, okay, like we're going to be fine. But that timing that he has to get down from going from next to the quarterback shotgun, reading your blocks to 7 yards back, getting a running start and reading your blocks is going to be different for him. It definitely is. And I think that like that first year, it's going to be the learning curve. It's going to be a little bit of that learning curve, but that's fine because speed talks. Like, you can't take his speed away from him. He's fast as shit. Athleticism is there. He doesn't go down easily. He actually does catch his balls on wheel routes that we saw in his film. We don't see necessarily the screens like he will be doing in this offense. That's what our running backs do. But it's still like, hey, he's got sure enough hands. He's not brick hands at all. So I feel like, and it's obvious if Heupel and this coaching staff believe in this kid, they're like, I cannot wait to see what I can do with him. Like, it's almost Heupel views these guys as like, look at this new piece I can put on my board and what I can do with it. It's like he's playing Dungeons and Dragons out there. He's like, I just got a wizard, and he's awesome.
Okay, you nerd. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know what you're talking about. No, so a couple things. It's funny how, two people can look at something differently. I saw the offense, and I thought a little bit about what you said, but I thought the offense, in a way, was like kind of kudos to him because you can tell it's like, and respect to the coach, too. I always respect a high school coach when I see nowadays and they're running a wing tee, a triple option, or like an I formation, or even you don't see many pro style. You usually see something like this, I formation. And I'm like, okay, respect, because everyone else wants to run a spread. So, but I took it as like kudos to Peyton because everyone knows who's getting the ball.
That's true.
They got an I formation. They're going to pack the box. And it's like, we're going to run it, and can you stop it or not? So the guy's got 11 people that are keyed on him. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that he can – and matter of fact, when I was watching it and I thought about that, I tried to go find his his stats, and I couldn't find it anywhere, which was pretty surprising to me. I'm like, Max Preps had like some of his stats, but it was for one game. So it wasn't for a season. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. But anyways, the other thing is too, before I start talking about him as his run is it's important for a running back to be able to catch the rock out of the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times there's some guys who are damn good running backs that can't do it. And I think that's where, besides the overall speed, balance, vision, and all that can make you elite, like a Bijan Robinson or Jamar Gibbs in the NFL. But then the other ones are really good, but they might lack one of those pieces. Like I've played with a couple running backs that if you could get the ball in their hand, they were awesome. But if you try to throw it to them, I mean, it was brick hands. It was like it didn't compute to their brain. Now you're talking about Derrick Henry early on, and the other thing about Derrick was he didn't pick up his run blocking and got Marcus killed a couple times.
His pass blocking was pretty atrocious.
Yeah, we still had DeMarco Murray at a high level.
He also struggled trying to catch out of the backfield too.
Well, that's what I'm bringing up. I'm bringing up besides his lack of protection on the then franchise quarterback, he was not good out of the backfield. There's still times where it'll be a throw to him, and I kind of like catch my breath, because if he catches it like he did last year against whoever else, or 2 years ago against the Buffalo Bills or against the Jacksonville Jaguars, it's like they run that little. Actually, the game that we were at, we were struggling on offense, and they threw a little screen to him, and he took it like 60 yards. And it's like I hold my breath every time he catches it, and then when he catches it, I'm like, okay, we're good to go. Mm-hmm. And for Peyton, very, very nice, clean hands catcher. And that's one thing I noticed. Like I only saw the two wheel routes, but he comes out, hand catches it. It looked very smooth and effortless. So I was happy to see that. Yeah. I hate that some of these plays on like. Obviously, he's a dog. Obviously, he can go wherever he wants. So he's probably not putting his own highlight tape together. But he's right off the rip. I'm like, why are we showing a 22-yard run here? Like, what's going on?
He's literally showing a 22-yard run, and then like 6 minutes into the thing, he shows another like 40-yard run where he breaks 4 tackles. I'm like, why the fuck is this not at the beginning, dude?
Like I said, because I think some of these guys that are just on the higher level that can go anywhere they want, it's just like it's probably I mean, I never had huddle, but
they probably literally just go, all right, here's the ones from the first game. Yep. Here's the ones from the second game. Here's the ones from the third game.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to guess, is they just do it like, just like that and let it go. Okay. So a couple things. I think obviously I love to see the speed. You see that on Twitter, and he's moving. And once again, he's moving at 6'1", 190 right now. Even if that weight's not true, maybe if he's really only 180, 185, that is still moving. That's not a Dylan Sampson that you and I have seen up close in person and is a little guy. We love Dylan.
Yeah.
He's little. And so it's like when you get speed on someone bigger like that, it's even more impressive. He's definitely a one-cut type guy.
Yep.
And this is for me. And I'm trying to relate to see if there's other fans out there. They see, a 4-star running back, pretty highly ranked, kind of a blue chip. And so immediately, not fair to him, I'm like, is this the dog that I've been waiting on that is the elite running back in this offense? And I'm watching, I'm like, no, I think he's really good, but I don't think it's where you hand him the ball and he literally can house call anytime he touches it, break a gajillion tackles, amazing balance, got 5,000 yards rushing in his career, or what I mean. And so that's not fair to him, because then I watch it, I'm like, this kid is a fantastic football player. But it really is, he's going to one hit you and burn it. I thought his balance was pretty good. His break tackle, got better as the highlight film went on. So I think he's really good. Now, I said, you know what, Reed, what do you want? What are you wanting here? Like, like it's as a fan, I'm dreaming, like I said, of the elite. And so I'm like, well, let me go see who some of the other guys are. Kyler, unless I'm missing something, there's actually not a 5-star running back right now in college recruiting. So it's
in that class.
Yeah, number 1 right here is a Taylor Tatum, 5'10", 205, from Texas. And then you got a guy from, Jarrett Gibson, 4-star, 5'10", 200 from IMG Academy. So it's like, okay, It's like, that's impressive that there's only, 10 to 15 guys ahead of him.
And only 2 in his position?
No. All these are running backs.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking just strictly at running backs because when I said in my mind, I was like, man, I wish he's a 5-star and just like some incredible.
But there's no 5-star running backs.
Exactly. Yeah. So I went and I'm actually going to take some time and maybe watch a few of these a little bit later to see how it goes. But I didn't want to do that just yet because I didn't want to compare. I'm going to kind of maybe do it later. But I think he's fantastic. I think he's great for this offense in as long as his body and his it just translate like you were talking about to being there, a one step, grab it and then go, compared to getting 3 or 4 yards, hand off, and then kind of, having a fullback or that type of offense. As long as that translates, the other part of him, his speed and all that stuff is going to be nasty. I mean, can you imagine you got, we got 4 wide, 2 and 2. And we got some of the backers split a little bit, or maybe there's only one backer. Guys pick up some blocks, and it's just him, a linebacker, and then one safety.
Dude, it's going to be like the Vandy game last year. Jalen and Dylan take it 80 yards. The Missouri game 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Where Jabari, I believe it was, takes it 70. It's just like once you spread that out and you got someone who can make one dude miss or break one tackle, see ya.
Yeah. No, agreed. And so that's where I have envisions for him. And I think he could be, really, really good in this offense. I think, Kyler, from the guys that we've seen, I think he has the potential to probably be the best. I mean, he has potential to be better than a Jabari Small. So I'm talking about so far what we've seen kind of in the hype. I think he definitely has potential to be better than Jabari. Yeah. And that is a natural ability. We love how Jalen Wright runs, but he's a different type of runner than Jalen Wright. I think he's got more opportunity because of his God-given talents than a Dylan Sampson.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, Dylan's a speedster. And it's like, Peyton's like line me up, bro. I'll race you. And he's much bigger. And then we have Cam Seldon, who we're all excited about. I would always say pump brakes when it's an orange and white game and there's multiple people in front of him that are not playing in the game.
Yeah.
And a guy who's maybe just now getting used to running back. But I'm just kind of talking down the future. I think this is the one that probably has the most potential that we've seen so far in the past couple of years.
The highest ceiling.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I feel like I would agree. I think we've been in this kind of like spot for a couple of years of like smaller, quick running backs and not necessarily a bigger guy or a punisher, or I mean, just like Jabari, Jalen, and Dylan, like they're all small compared to like the best running backs that came out of this year, Bijan Robinson, Jamar Gibbs. Like they're smaller than those guys. I agree with you with like that blue chip running back. Like, man, if we get like a Bryce Brown, like when Bryce Brown we got in like 2009 or 10, like that kind of guy who is just like an absolute freak.
Yeah, they just have it all. They
have it all. I mean, go back and watch Bryce Brown's highlight tape from high school. It is ridiculous.
Go watch him when he was at UT, and then when he was on Monday Night Football with the Eagles, and everyone's like, "Who's this dude?" He got taken 7th round. It's like, well, this guy used to be the #1 recruit in the nation. Yeah, that's the thing is like a Dylan and a Jabari kind of have their roles. Like they would be a role on another team. Jalen's bigger than those two guys, and he runs harder, but he's more of a downhill power to speed. He's not going to make too many wiggles. If he's got a safety, he's probably just going to lower his head and try to truck him instead of put some wiggle. And then you got a Peyton who, like I'm saying, is the first one that we can see that can run someone over, run by them, maybe make them miss.
Yeah.
For a running back, it's can you do a little bit of everything? And then something that we're not even talking about, which we didn't see on here, but can you pick up a blitz pickup? You know,
yeah, that's going to be huge. That is such an understated part of the Heupel offense is running back pass protection. and being able to take care of that quarterback. Because there's a lot of times where he'll say, hey, we got 7-man protection, tight end, running back, you're both staying in. I'm sending 2 guys on routes, and that's it.
Yeah.
And we're going to throw it up. So it's like, all right, you guys got to step up. I mean, and we saw plenty of times where running backs did not step up and it ruined drives. So he already has an advantage with his size in pass protection. So take it, like, go with that. That was one of the, you mentioned Derrick Henry, like, that was one of the frustrating things with him. It was just like, dude, you're freaking huge. You are so much bigger than every guy that's blitzing. Like, just pick him up, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It should be easy.
Yeah. Agreed. And so I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited. And it was just funny going through it because it was like, okay, awesome, blue chip, 4-star, okay, height. And then I go and I'm like, really good. Not fair to him because I'm just wanting a first-round draft pick. That's how we are as fans, man. That's how we are. Is like, is this the next Jamal Lewis? It's like, pipe down, Reed. Quit being an idiot here.
Yeah.
But I think
well, it's also like some of those guys that were the next and that were great, no one saw them as like, oh, this is going to be the greatest Vol. Yeah, like, nobody can tell me, like, Derek Barnett is going to break Reggie White's sack record when he was getting recruited. Like,
yeah,
nobody thought that, but he ended up doing it and he ended up balling for us. So it's just like, you really don't know. You're just speculating. That's all we're doing here. And hoping that, his size, his ability, his speed translates.
Well, let me ask you this. So I'm assuming I guess I think Jalen Hurd is the last 5-star blue chip big prospect coming in at running back. You played with him, so how do you think that? I mean, what do you, when you think back about Jalen? Do you think he lived up to it? Do you think he was as good as you thought he was going to be coming in? He's a bigger guy. Like, what's your?
I actually do think he lived up to.
Okay.
I mean, for a freshman, he came in and performed like he did, and I mean, I saw that man do some impressive things, and he was a damn hard worker. Like, when I was there, like, I remember him and Ethan Wolf really, like, got into competition with each other, and they were pushing each other every day. Like, I'm going to squat more than you. I'm going to bench more than you. I'm going to be stronger than you. I'm going to be, and they took it as like a friendly rivalry. And Jalen, the way he ran and how aggressive he was at times. And I'm just going to be honest. His freshman year, our offensive line was not that good. That was the first year I started. That's right after we lost everyone. We had to replace the entire offensive line. We weren't great. Like, we really weren't. We were letting up a lot of sacks. Like, we had a lot of young guys playing. And Jalen did what he needed to do. Like, he was over 1,000-yard back. I was very excited for Jalen's future. I really did think, like, here's the next Tennessee running back to get taken early in the draft, to, show out. And then it was just when Alvin transferred, it was like, look at this icing on the cake. This is fun. But I really liked Jalen a lot. And it sucks the way it ended. And, I wish I could have been there. I feel like maybe could have done something. Probably not. But it just sucks the way it ended. But I thought Jalen was going to be, I thought he was going to break records. I mean, the fact that he started as a freshman and then did very well. And, like, I was like, dude, this guy's going to play. He's going to keep playing. He's going to get touches every game. Like, I could see him breaking records, be an all SEC. Like, that's what I saw for him. So, yeah, it was just really disappointing when he was like, I'm not even going to play running back anymore. I was like, dude, I love you at running back. Like, you're the best. Like, I absolutely love blocking for that guy.
So Jalen was obviously a freak genetically and had all the God-given tools and stuff. So I don't want it to come across wrong when I say maybe he got a little unlucky. But life's about timing and some luck, and it is crazy, bro, that he's at the University of Tennessee playing well, and just so happens that not only like an all like not I'm not gonna say one of the all time, maybe one of the all time better running backs transfers into the University of Tennessee, a guy who's been doing it for multiple years now at the NFL at the highest level. He's one of the best backs. I mean, he retired in a way, jokingly, Adrian Peterson, someone that some will argue that Adrian Peterson is the greatest running back of all time, top 3, top 5, and AK retired him basically because he showed up to Saints camp and Sean Payton fell in love with him. And it's so AK is beyond good. I mean, he's special. And so it's a little unlucky. Maybe if there's a different head coach there, maybe it gets handled differently. And that's not a shot at Butch. I'm not saying that he handled it wrong. I mean, he was doing what he thought was the best thing, but maybe if there's a different coach there that can get both of them the rock and can get both.
You got 2 5-star running backs.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with that?
Right. It's wild, man. Wild. And so it's just that's some pretty unlucky stuff for someone who was had a nice lottery ticket, when he was born and being such a dog athlete. So yeah, it's not to get on a tangent about Jalen, but that's pretty wild that it happened.
I know, it's like, and he had that whole year by himself. He was RB1 and he showed out and he gained the trust of everybody on that team as like, this guy can make a play when he needs to. Like, he can get those extra yards when we need them. Like, dude, when we played Florida in Florida, he had some of the more impressive runs I've ever seen.
He was.
It was ridiculous. It's just like that kind of stuff. It's like, I can't take this guy off the field. I can't. I cannot give it to somebody else when he's doing stuff like that.
He ran so hard. He was good. He'd blitz pick up. He would catch out of the backfield. Yeah, it's pretty wild how stuff like that happens, how a guy like that gets remembered because of how stuff ends. I actually understand why he said, I'm not going to play running back. Like, he's going to try to – I mean, he was trying to do it for his NFL career. I get it. I respect it. But
it's a little late.
Yeah. But anyway.
Hey, sorry to you. You maybe should have made that decision in high school. It's too late now, bud. Like, you're not going to be able to catch up to every other guy who's already been playing wide receiver their entire life.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah. Anyways, Peyton Lewis, super excited about it. DeJohn Terry, we're hoping for the best for you and your family. I hope he gets a good landing spot.
Yeah.
Last thing I'll say is I saw a couple things on the Twitter sphere about some of these quotes some of these recruits said this weekend. One being like, this is one of the best visits I've ever been to. That's like, holy heck. And it's another one saying, this set the bar really, really high type deal. And, the people there are unmatched. It was awesome that Peyton, I saw the picture where Peyton's up with Heupel in the team meeting room in front of everybody. That is a cool moment for Peyton. And that's really nice as a head coach that you can say, this guy's a blue chip. He's a 4-star. He's got offers to a ton of places.
And he wants to come here.
And he's standing in front of you telling you he's coming here and like, let's congratulate him. So all those things, I mean, we've always said it. Tennessee recruits itself. But then when you got a guy in there that these players can trust, that they can not only trust him as a person and that he's probably going to try to do the best that he can for them and put them in good positions to succeed. He's also going to put them in a great position to succeed on game day. If you're not a me guy about stats and stuff and you want to win, he's going to give you a great shot to win. You're going to play in front of the best fans and one of the best atmospheres. So we've always said Tennessee can recruit itself, but when you get a guy like that you can trust and has a nice family atmosphere and it's special. So
this weekend felt a little different than 4 or 5 years ago when we had that recruiting weekend and Butch got like 10 dudes to commit on the same day. And then they all ended up decommitting. It's just like, it was like, what the hell's going on? We got 7 commits in one day. Like, what? Yeah, this feels a little bit different.
Yeah. That's a little bit of that, maybe that smoke and mirrors, little fake hype type stuff.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, that's cool, and just keep it going, and see what the boys can do over there.
I love it. All right, man. Great
See you,
pod.
bro.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. If you are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment. We love the comments. If you're just listening, rate and review, download and re-download that podcast, and follow us on all those podcast platforms you might be listening. Also, follow us on social media at Pancakes and Bacon on Twitter for our main account, at Pancakes and Bacon _RTI on Instagram. And for Reed, you can follow him at rbacon26 on Twitter. For myself, you can follow me at Kyler Curbison on all social medias. So check us out there, and just really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for all your support. And as always, go Vols.